Hey, it's Regina here at Tarot and Time in Kent, Connecticut. I'm here to talk to you about the month of September using tarot and astrology for everyday living. Now, September was originally named after the Latin word septem, which meant seven. And if you remember, the Roman calendar originally did not include the month January and February. So September was originally the seventh month, and it moved to the ninth month. But the name stuck. So here we are in September. This is a wild month because it's full of tons of planetary changes, full moon, double new moon in Virgo, because we had one last month. Now we have one again in Virgo. We have eclipses. It's just wild. So we have to keep remaining positive that things have an opportunity to change because things are changing. Planets are changing signs. And that's when we start to notice shifts in our life, especially the personal planets, which we're going to see a lot of this month. Now, we may feel like we've been kind of spinning in circles. And some of that's because of Saturn and Neptune's movement. They've been, they were in Pisces for a very long time. Then they went into Aries, and now they're retrograding back into Pisces. This month, Saturn will return to Pisces. It's going to spend 5 months there. It's the last 5 months for 29 years. So there's interesting things going to be happening. Pisces is such a karmic sign. So I feel like there's a lot of karmic cleanup going on. There's a lot of opportunities for change. But we may feel a little thrown off, like we might not feel like we're getting ahead. A lot of what's going on now is foreshadowing what's coming in July of 2026. So pay attention. I almost get that deja vu feeling sometimes when I feel foreshadowing. And so pay attention to that. Pay attention to, this feels like it has more meaning. Not sure what that is yet, because we're going to see a lot of things unfold as we move into 2026, which is going to be a 1 year in numerology. So remember, we're finishing up a 9-year as a whole, the whole planet. 2025 equals the number 9. It's the Hermit card in tarot, also the Moon card in tarot. And so we have a lot of deep soul searching. And we're going to move into this fresh energy next year where we can make anything happen. The Magician and the Wheel of Fortune will be our cards next year, and we'll see a lot of movement. So hang in there. Now, we know that Venus just changed signs. It's in the sign of Virgo. We know that Mars is going to be getting to the very end of degrees in Libra, going into Scorpio, an unstoppable placement for the planet of action. We know that Pluto's hanging out at 1 degree of Aquarius. It's been retrograding, and it's very early in this 1 degree. Saturn is considered to be going to be by the end of the month at 28.5 degrees of Pisces. We know that it's only 29 degrees, right? Then we go to 0 again. Neptune's hanging out at 0 degrees Aries. Uranus, the oh wow planet, 1 degree Gemini. There's all sorts of beginnings, endings, eclipses, all this stuff, and a Pisces full moon on top of that this month, helping us clear out the old, bring in the new. And then our second Virgo New Moon. I always think it's pretty wild when we get like a double of something. We had a 0 degree Virgo New Moon at the end of August, and now we're going to be by the end of September on the 21st. We're going to have another Virgo New Moon at the 29th degree of Virgo. Now, Virgo loves to sift things, sort things, clean things up, get things organized. I don't know about you. I've been feeling that. I've been going through all my inventory. I've been, clearance. If you live anywhere near Connecticut, come to our store. We're clearancing tons of old stuff just to get it moving out, right? So we can feel lighter. I always feel like when I have a ton of extra stuff and things piling up, it hurts my health, and it doesn't feel good to me, right? I feel like I can't breathe. And so it is connected to our health, which Virgo is. So getting our lives in order to the best that we can, we will have this extra chance to look at it. I feel like I started off with sorting, sifting, and then I feel lighter. And then I get into later degrees of Virgo. I can start looking at things like my diet and things like health and things like movement. Okay, so there's a lot of emphasis on that kind of energy this month. Virgo is, considered the virgin. There's a sense of purity. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the merchant. Mercury is communication, delivery of information. And also Virgo is a mutable sign. So it's like almost like shifting things, finding the right place. I always think of the game Tetris when I think of Virgo, because that old game where the pieces would fall and you had to put them into the right place as quick as you can. That's very Virgo-like to me. So let's take advantage of this kind of rare opportunity to get this double Virgo energy, double new beginning energy. Now, so much information. So we're going to kind of just jump in where we left off last month, and we'll go week by week, and we'll go over everything in detail. I'd like to do first off is I want to roll some dice just as an overall theme for the month for us. These are our Astro dice, and let's see what comes up just as an overall theme. So first off, we got the moon in the sign of Pisces, and it's showing up in the 11th house, which is Aquarius's house. We know we have a full moon in Pisces this month, so it's interesting that that showed up. Now, the full moon in Pisces is going to be on September 7th, 15-degree Pisces full moon and lunar eclipse. And you rolled the 11th house, which is Aquarius's house of our hopes and our dreams, of newness, large groups of people. So there's something here. There's like karmic cleanup. There's creative energy. And we have a lot of accentuation here on this full moon. So mark your calendar for the 7th, 09 p.m. And I wrote down for this full moon, first of all, this is a full moon on steroids, because to me, the Pisces full moon is a big deal anyways, because nobody really understands Pisces. And Pisces, because it's foggy energy. It's creative energy and healing energy, but it's karmic cleanup energy. And Pisces is often associated with our undoing. It rules things like drugs and alcohol, things like secrets. So this is all kind of churning there, and whatever's on weak ground during this period will collapse, and it may feel intense. And there's going to be themes of relationships and careers and health and mental states. And the key to getting through this full moon is going to be to get really zen, to get really relaxed, to understand that we only have so much control. There's a sense of surrender. And I really like the idea that what is leaving, because remember, these lunar eclipse wants to take something from us and it pulls something away. And we already have the nodes of the moon involved. We have the moon in Pisces hanging out with the transiting north node of the moon. The transiting north node is all about like where we need to focus now. And the sun in Virgo is going to be hanging out with the south node of the moon, where we've been, what we've learned before, our past lives, our past experiences. So there's going to be a lot about letting go and being honest with yourself that what you're letting go of was probably long gone already. So you may have been holding on to something for a while. You want to be really honest with yourself this month. It's a time to clear away the dead wood to make room for new growth. So it's interesting that this came up as on the dice, and that it came up in the 11th house. So, that full moon is going to affect everybody differently as to where it falls into your astrology chart. Where is Pisces in your chart, right? So take a peek at that. If you need help taking a peek at that, comment below. Give me your date of birth, time of birth, place of birth, and I can let you know. So just comment that and remind me that it's about the full moon in Pisces and how that's affecting you. For some of you, it will land in the 11th house. But as a theme for this group, for those of you choosing to listen to this video, this is showing me that this full Pisces moon can really help bring in the new. And sometimes the new, I have over glamorized in my life the idea of the someday when I was going to have an empty nest. I have put so much energy through raising children that was going to be such a special, wonderful time period for me that I was going to be overjoyed about. And now that it's actually here, you start to realize how scary it is to move into new times. So it doesn't mean that when these things clear out for you that you're going to just be just blissful. Sometimes the things that we want are the things that scare us the most, but we have to do it anyways. And so this is making room for these things that maybe our heart so longs for, but might scare us a little bit. And then we know we're kind of moving in the right direction. Okay, so we're going to kind of put these dice to the back here. So we've got a lot of moon energy. We know that I have my moon in Pisces house in the sign of Gemini, and it's Pisces asks a lot of me. And when we see a full moon of Pisces, it's going to ask a lot of you. There's a lot about having to retreat back. There's a lot about self-care and breaking old cycles. So there's big themes this month, and it's not always comfortable, and it's not supposed to be. Now, let's see where we left off last month, which is September 1st through September 10th. Now, right away, we have Saturn re-entering Pisces. Now, situations that were going on March 23rd to May 25th of this year are going to resurface. So keep notes, see what's coming up. If you have notes from that time period, see what was going on back then. We're going to have things resurface. You may feel like you're, spinning in a circle or going backwards. But remember, Saturn is a builder. It's not a destroyer. So review your actions. You can master the situation. You're going to go back and see what cycles need to be broken. Saturn, remember, it rules things like your career, your long-term standing in the world. It owns the 10th house in astrology. And the 10th house, a lot of people just say your career, but remember, it's the house of your legacy. It's the house of your reputation. Not everybody's working in a career, right? Some people are home raising children. Some people are volunteering and doing great work in that regard. So this is about your legacy as Saturn re-enters the sign of Pisces to do some last final cleanup until it moves into Pisces again in 29 years. Now, so that's on Monday the 1st. Now, on the 2nd, Mercury, the planet of communication, the messenger, remember it rules merchants, it rules stores, it rules delivery of information, it rules literal deliveries, is going to move into Virgo. Well, hey, that's its best placement. It rules the sign Virgo. Virgo is the analyzer. Now, Mercury is moving really fast, so it's only going to be there from September 2nd to September 18th. This is a fabulous time for you to get your ducks in a row. This, let's see, everything can change, but keep the original plan handy because on September 3rd, Mercury is going to square the oh wow planet Uranus. So feathers will be ruffled. Uranus retrograde is then going to begin on September 6th. So we're probably going to revisit what's been going on. And so have that original plan because I know Mercury in Virgo is going to have a well thought out, detailed, analyzed plan. But Uranus likes to come in and stir the pot and bring in new stuff. Now, a lot of people are afraid of Uranus, right? Oh, wow planet, the lightning bolt planet. And, my daughter was asking me the other day, what planet do you think would have prominence in my chart for my career to increase, right? She's a musician. What planet would make it like something just hits? And the first thing that came to mind is Uranus, right? Uranus just shows up out of the blue. So Uranus may come in and change the plan, but keep the original plan because it was well thought out. Keep it handy and observe what Uranus is showing you because Uranus is almost like, to me, it's like divine intervention. So it may be outside of what you could even analyze. So it's not there to destroy your idea, although Uranus is really good at that, but it's there to bring in a higher octave of what information you may not even be able to rationalize at this point. Okay, so this doesn't have to be a bad thing. So plans will change, but keep the original plan handy. Now, on the 3rd, we have action square emotions, and they both really have their place. So the moon is going to be squaring the planet Mars, the planet of action, and it's going to be opposite Jupiter, so that makes things big. The moon will be in the sign of Capricorn on the 3rd. So the moon rules our emotions in general, and then Mars just wants to go out there and do it. So you really have to pay attention to feeling. It's not all just about forward action. There's some things about going internal also. Now, on the 4th, the moon's going to move into Aquarius early in the morning. And the 4th is when we have Mars, the planet of action, in Libra, relationship sign, cardinal air sign. And it's going to be squaring Jupiter, the planet of luck and blessings, in the sign of Cancer. Now, remember, Mars in Libra, worst position for Mars. I think it's called its detriment. It's the rules and the laws. Okay, Mars is like, let's do this. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, very best placement for it. And so we call that the home field advantage. So you can win. So if there's legal things going on, or you have, paperwork and documents and things that you're like, I don't know if this is going to work in my favor, envision it working out, because Jupiter's lucky and things just can click into place, and it's in the advantage here. Okay, so keep in mind you can win September 4th. Now, Friday the 5th, get stuff done. But remember, we're heading to a Pisces full moon, and we're going to head to that on the 7th, right? So it's at 2:09 a.m. on the 7th. So emotions are going to run high. They always run high during a full moon, but this is a Pisces full moon and a lunar eclipse. So hold on to your hat. So with the moon in the sign of Aquarius, the moon and Mars are going to be trining each other, so we can definitely get things done. But remember that emotions run high. Avoid confrontation. Be careful. Don't get sloppy on a Pisces full moon. Okay, remember, Pisces rules drugs, it rules alcohol, it rules jails, it rules hospitals, it rules anything that takes us away from society. So do it in a positive way. It rules retreating and meditating, and I think of spas and swimming and floating and creative energy. Use it in a positive way. So on the 6th, we go into Uranus retrograde in the air sign of Gemini. So Uranus retrograde is going to run from September 6th to February 23rd of next year. Uranus is absolute and uncompromising. You might feel a pendulum swinging. You might embrace the very things that you once found objectionable. Ideals will dawn on you, and changes can be long-lasting. Uranus and Gemini, all you Geminis, this is going to be an interesting time with Uranus in your sign. I believe it does very well in your sign, and it's going to bring in newness. This can be new opportunities. This can be things out of the blue. This can be new people, okay? But it's going to feel very extreme, back and forth, and it may even shift your viewpoint on some things. Now, Saturday, the moon moves into the sign of Pisces at 11:54 a.m. So make sure you have your moon water going. Remember, moon water is the art of putting water into a nice glass jar and letting it charge up to the moon's rays. So you may want to do this a few days before and a few days after this full moon. And I like to write down some of my orders, or with the full moon, I often like to celebrate the things that I have received, the things that I am in gratitude for. So you may want to make a list of that. You can place that list under the water, put it in a window or as close as you can get to a window, and let it simmer and absorb the energy of this full moon. Now, Saturday, be open to new ideas. And imagine. Pisces is really good at imagining, paving the way by visualizing it and feeling it first. Sunday, full moon, 2:09 p.m. The sun will be conjunct Mercury, the planet of communication. and it will be opposite the moon in Pisces with Saturn and Neptune hanging out close by. This moon, called the harvest moon, will be trining Jupiter, the planet of luck, blessings, and expansion. And in the meantime, Mars, the planet of action, will be squaring Jupiter. So there's tons of stuff going on. I want to allow this lunar eclipse to take away something that we no longer need. So we can often offer up what it. One of the interesting things is you've got Uranus, the oh wow planet, trining Pluto, the planet of transformation and change. And right between that, at the midpoint between that, we have Neptune, and Neptune's the healer. So we have the potential for great healing here, but it's all dependent on what we do now. It's dependent on our choices now. So allow what isn't serving you to leave, and maybe admit that it left a long time ago. Hold on, stay calm, get a lot of rest during this Pisces full moon and eclipse. So I'm going to pull a couple cards here for you for this week ahead, this powerful, powerful week ahead. I've got a new deck here that I'm pretty excited about, the Curious Travels Tarot deck. Been enjoying this one, and so that's two from that deck. I'm also going to give you one from one of my other newer favorites, which is the Magical Hours Tarot. All of these are in stock in Kent, Connecticut, and soon, I know I've said this many times, but soon it will be available on our online store. Okay, and let's give you a power animal for the week ahead here. This is coming from the Spirit of the Animals Oracle. Really great one. So let's see what power animal you have for this first week of September. I mean, look how much activity is already happening this first week of September. Now, your first card is the High Priestess, and interesting, can't even see her face. What is she holding? I think she's holding a pomegranate. This is card number 2. This is Major Arcana number 2. This is the power of the feminine. She is ruled by the moon. We're in a full moon week. A lot of messages, you will receive a lot of messages. They may even come in through your dreams. Write them down, pay attention. Remember, when messages come through the fluid body, through feeling, they don't always make sense. And that's why it's really good to write things down, to contemplate it, look back at it, and see what its meaning is later, especially since we have a lot of themes of foreshadowing for what's coming in July. You have the Wheel of Fortune. So you got 2 major arcanas this week. This is a Sagittarius card. I was referencing this card because next year this will be one of our cards of the year. We've got the eye up there protecting. We've got some reference to Egyptian. I'm not very good at that, but we have a lot of different references here and a lot of forms of protection. We see a symbol for Saturn kind of running down the side of that. The Wheel of Fortune asks us to surrender, to look at the bigger picture, and to get glimpses of the future. Now, our third card is the 5 of Pentacles, and I think this about sums it up, how we may feel through all of this. So we have to hold on to the support that we can hold on to. 5 of Pentacles shows change of value, change of what's important. And I definitely think the theme for September is change, leading into even more change, especially as we go into 2026. All right, let's see what your power animal is here for this week. And we have the sea turtle, protection. It says you are a master of finding life's flow. Be in harmony with the rhythm and your path will unfold. Preserve and you will succeed. You have everything you need to be protected and happy. So the word preserve jumped out to me. This is the harvest moon and preserving for later, right? Some people are literally making preserves, right? Or canning. And so get into the flow, keep things simple, preserve your energy too. There's a lot of change coming. You will succeed. We saw themes of Saturn. We saw Saturn running down the side of that card, which is about long-term success. So the sea turtle is your spirit animal this week. And really and truly, like, they're pretty magnificent creatures. And I've never really, like, I haven't been to Hawaii yet. I hope to be, I have a daughter there. So I need to see these sea turtles and I need to see my daughter. I can imagine how magnificent they are swimming like that and what prehistoric energy they have also. So just be yourself. I almost think it must look funny to see this gigantic turtle swimming. It's a Pisces full moon. We're going to be swimming in emotion, but we're also swimming in creativity. And so harness that energy, preserve that energy for yourself and for others this week ahead. Now we're going to move into the next week, which is September 8th through September 14th. Now, we're going to be coming out of this full moon, right? So we're coming down off of that. Things are still going to be pretty intense. And so on Monday, the 8th, we will still have the moon in Pisces, and it moves into Aries at 2:37 p.m. So tend to your emotions and creativity in the morning. There's a lot of forward movement in the afternoon. So Pisces energy in the morning. So if you get a chance to get an extra spare few minutes of sleep, that would be really helpful for you. Tend to your emotions, work on some creative project, let yourself rest, and then don't worry, the energy will start to pick up speed in the afternoon. Now, Mars is still going to be square Jupiter. We're going to have Uranus trining Pluto, a lot of intensity. On the 9th, we have the moon in Aries opposite Mars in Libra, square Jupiter. So I wrote down for Tuesday, at least be polite. Okay, if that's all you can do, if that's all you've got, at least be polite. Step away. Now, on the 10th, things lighten up a little bit. The moon's going to move into Taurus after 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Enjoy a beautiful meal. Taurus loves all the simple beauty. The weather here in New England should be absolutely perfect this time of year. We're coming off the harvest moon. So enjoy the beauty, enjoy a beautiful meal, slow down and enjoy. Now, on September 11th, we never forget the history of 9/11, and we also don't want to forget our relationships with the moon and being in a Venus sign of Taurus. And we don't want to forget all of those people who lost their lives on September 11th also. So keeping that in mind, keeping that in your heart. Now, on September 12th, the moon's going to move into Gemini later in the day after 5:30 p.m. And the 12th is when the sun in Virgo will be sextile Jupiter in Cancer. Now, this is a positive aspect, a sextile. So the Virgo sun sextiling Jupiter in Cancer, building on what you have. Where do you want to grow from here? This is a good time to be updating your skills. This is a good time to think about, am I going to be expanding? Am I going to be going back to school? Considering all options. Virgo's a great analyzer. The sun is shining there. Mercury's hanging out there. And Jupiter, in its best placement in Cancer, is there to help you out. Jupiter rules the sign Sagittarius, has a lot to do with higher energy, has to do with school, higher learning, publishing, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to be considering all of those things on the 12th. Where do you want to grow from here? Now, on the 3rd, I swear there's something going on like every day this month. 13th, Mercury cazimi the sun in Virgo. Now, cazimi means that it's in the heart of the sun. So Mercury's literally like sitting in the middle of the energy of the sun. Mercury is also its most brilliant in the sign of Virgo, right? It's considered exalted. This cazimi is conjunct together with the South Node. We've done this before. We've been there before. I've learned that before. Clear out the worry. Focus on the task at hand. Listen and call upon resources. Ask for help, ask for advice, ask for guidance, and stay determined. This is a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time for communication. It's a beautiful time for getting things in order and looking at where we've been, how we've done it before, and how we're going to move forward. We're going to use all those wonderful skills that we've been advised to develop last month into this month to manage stress, to manage anxiety, to manage our fears, to health things. But even, I was even saying like it could be knitting, it could be anything that calms you. It doesn't have to always go to, exercise and diet. Yeah, that's great. But there's also other tools, and that's what you need to look at now so that you can make the most of this energy to move forward. So on Saturday the 13th, lots of mental activity. Stay grounded. However you stay grounded. Maybe you walk outside barefoot. Maybe you use some grounding stones like red jasper or any of the black stones. Maybe you use grounding sheets. Maybe you use some grounding products, right? But stay grounded. I always like when Sheila Haidt talks about wearing ankle weights, right? It's a great literal way to stay grounded and to get great calves on top of that. Okay, now on the 15th, this is the last quarter moon in Gemini. Last quarter moon, so we're coming to the end of a cycle. You want to think on your feet. Gemini, fast moving. We know Uranus is hanging out in Gemini. Live in the moment. Do what you have to do. Let people believe what they need to get through this rough passage. It's not that you want to lie to people, but you don't want to correct their false assumptions. You'll be thankful later. Okay. So just kind of stay out of it. Lately, when working in retail, having a lot of people come in, a lot of people outraged politically, and not everyone's agreeing, right? And sometimes I just want to about it. And I don't agree with what people are saying to me, especially about things like tariffs that are extremely affecting merchants right now. Sometimes the nicest thing that I can say is, I hope you're right. That's all I got. I hope you're right. I hope that all of this is not true. I hope that your optimistic view on what's going to happen is so, but it's not worth trying to argue it or correct it, and we will be thankful for this later. Now, we're starting to head towards a new moon. Is that right? The new moon is really not until the end of the following week, but we're starting to work towards that Virgo new moon. Okay. So let's pull a few cards for this week, this big week. Lots going on all month. Let's see what we need to know during this week of September 8th through September 14th. And I'm also going to pull out here the Pastoral Tarot. This is a really beautiful one. I've used this many times, and it has a lot of like French countryside. Feels very calming. I guess it wants to give us two there. And then we're going to put one on the table with our Tower spirit animals, see what our spirit animal is for this week. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Haven't looked at any of these cards yet. First card is the Queen of Cups. And that makes sense with us coming down off this Pisces full moon. This is a creative, watery queen. And she's the queen of emotions. We know emotions are running very high, but creativity is running very high too. What she's carrying there, but I almost felt like she had a bunch of sea glass and all these things that she found. Different shells, different glass. There's a lot of creative energy. So moon, right? Cancer is ruled by the moon. Full speed ahead. We're talking about harvest, and they are literally harvesting the hay. Those horses are moving fast, so there's fast forward movement. The Chariot asks us to trust feeling to move forward. The Chariot's always a vehicle, and it does not run on gasoline. It runs on intuition, so trust it this week. It can help you forward. See what your spirit animal is, and you have the snow leopard, self-reliance. You are strongly independent and often solitary. Integrity is important for your best outcome. Cloak yourself with invisibility and walk with the shamans. Use your intuition and let your life unfold in silent perfection. How cool is that? Yeah, we talked about intuition big time this month, and that it can help protect you. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful cards for the week ahead. So enjoy. So we move into the week of September 15th through September 21st. And this is the week we start off on the 15th with Venus sextile Mars. Now, sextiles are a positive aspect, and Venus is hanging out in the sign of Leo, and it's sextiling Mars in the sign of Libra. They're actually both at 25 degrees. And so remember, Mars isn't doing it at its best in Libra, but Mars wants to take action and Libra wants to bring harmony and balance. So the energy of this sex is teaming up energy. Venus rules the sign Libra that Mars is hanging out in. It's all about putting aside your differences and working together. Great movies always have opposite type main characters, right? We usually have like storylines of, people having to work together, people having to do stuff together, not liking each other in the beginning, and then harmony towards the end. So remember this when you're teaming up with others. Put aside your differences and take advantage of this harmonious energy on the 15th of the month. And, these kind of affect us a few days before, a few days after. Teamwork makes the spell work. Tuesday the 16th, we have, let's see where the moon is on Tuesday the 16th. So the moon is in the sign of Cancer, right? It actually started on Sunday. It moved into the sign of Cancer. And now we have it there Monday and Tuesday. And so on Tuesday, the advice is that your mind is telling you to keep working, but your body says slow down. So listen to the body on Tuesday, the 16th, and pretty much always, but especially on Tuesday, the 16th. The 17th, we have Mercury opposite Saturn, which is retrograded. So on the 17th, Mercury, remember, it rules merchants, it rules roadways, pathways, delivery of information. But Mercury can also be the trickster. And when it's opposite Saturn, what you see isn't necessarily what you'll get. Do not sign the dotted line. There's more information to come. So put off signing agreements. It won't be easy because there's like a window of opportunity is closing. And the other person may be under pressure to seal the deal, but this is not the time to proceed. There's more information that is due to come. So please wait a little longer. Now, on the 18th, Mercury is going to enter the sign of Libra. So look at all this planetary movements. It's like you cannot expect to feel the same this month because everything is shifting. All these planets, all these personal planets are shifting. All these retrogrades are going on. Full moons, eclipses, new moons. It's a pretty wild month. So when Mercury enters Libra, the relationship sign of Libra, Mercury, the communicator, and then it's going to go right into an opposition with Neptune, the great healer, but also the planet of illusion and delusion, part of why we don't want to sign the dotted line. Don't give in to bullies. Don't lock horns. This is a standoff, not a fight. Okay, this is an opposition, not a fight. Stay in your corner. Refuse to budge. Don't change your position. Stay on your side of the dividing line. You can hold your ground without having this be a big confrontation. Stand your ground. Don't give in. It's Thursday, the 18th. Now, Venus then moves into the sign of Virgo. Now, it's a little tough position for Venus because Virgo is the analyzer and Virgo gets into all the details. I personally have Venus in the sign of Sagittarius, but in Virgo's house. So I kind of get the understanding of Virgo. It can nitpick. It can be, it took me a really long time to be able to show up and be on videos. I still hate seeing my own self on videos. Venus and Virgo, that's one of the symptoms. So on the 19th, Venus moves into the mutable earth sign of Virgo, the analyzer. It will stay there till October 13th. Now, this is a good time for invites, offers and introductions because Venus is all about harmony and relationships. But Virgo knows, they are very shrewd, knowing that opportunities come with strings attached. So sometimes Venus in Virgo doesn't want to take those opportunities because they feel that it's going to end up having some kind of repercussion. But remember, others help you get what you want quickly. So don't isolate yourself, accept some of the offers and invitations. And yes, there may be strings attached, and just try to evaluate if the strings are worth it for you. But you can get what you want quickly, so take advantage of it. Now we're moving into what else? We've got more stuff going on. We're getting closer and closer to this new moon in Virgo and the solar eclipse that's going to happen on the 21st on Sunday. Now, on the 19th, Friday the 19th, after Venus moves into Virgo, Mercury is going to go into a trine. Now, this is considered a grand air trine, even though I've heard some astrologers say that it's about a quarter degree short of an air trine. I am not a mathematical astrologer. I am an intuitive astrologer. To me, I see a lot of air. I see a lot of planets in air. Mercury trining, grand air trine, is a very positive aspect, but it's going to make for a lot of mental stimulation. Mercury's involved, the communication planet, Uranus, the oh wow planet, and Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, also rules other people's money. So people can help you. Rules and laws can work in your favor. You are not alone. Do not isolate. Get in touch with old friends, new friends, business associates, agencies that can help you, human resources, and helpers in general. You can receive quick results. Mercury, Grand Trine, the 19th. It's not just the 19th, but it definitely escalates then. Now, this weekend, Saturday, learn from past mistakes. The moon's going to be in Virgo. We know that we're heading to the new moon. We know we've got some of the node accesses involved because the north node of the moon is presently, let me make sure I get this straight, presently in the sign of Pisces, and opposite Pisces is Virgo, and the south node of the moon is there, the past. So definitely learn from your past mistakes and try not to repeat it. It does feel globally like we are just not learning from the past and repeating the same mistakes, and maybe even worse this time. So on a personal level, learn from that. Now, on Sunday, the 21st at 3:54 p.m., we have the Virgo New Moon and solar eclipse. Now, there's just so much going on. This is opposite Saturn at 28.5 degrees of Pisces. And Uranus and Pluto are about 7 minutes away to trining on this new moon. So that trine was in this general range of the end of the week. The moon is also about 2 hours away from entering the sign of Libra. It's a lot of change. And this is happening right before a lot of change happens. So, the sun's going to move into Libra too. That's what it is. So the moon's going to move into Libra. The sun's going to move into Libra. And they're not going to be a new moon because the new moon's going to happen in Virgo. But there's going to be a lot of, it's almost like, I heard one astrologer, Rick Levine, refer to this as, that the moon is like pregnant. There's this grand air trine. Something new is going to give birth. Okay. Now, solar eclipse brings us something. So we want to think about what we want to be birthing. There is a lot of emphasis. Now, remember, all these planets are changing signs, right? And all this Virgo new moon and the solar eclipse that wants to bring us something. Some of the questions I wrote down are: how's your health and wealth? There's emphasis on the body because this is Virgo, it's Earth. There's change in diet, rest, meditation, exercise. You can no longer burn the candle at both ends. Take care of yourself. Also, cut back on spending and consolidate because this is Virgo energy and the south node's there. And we want to learn from the mistakes and we want to get clear and we want to get organized. And this is the second Virgo new moon that we had. You know, it's so fun when we have repeats. I'm always like, when I was first learning astrology, I didn't even know that could happen. We have 0-degree Virgo new moon in August, a 29-degree Virgo new moon in September. We get a double chance here. You Virgos especially are going to be affected by this. To get things together, to get things organized, to take care of yourself, to accept the gift of the grounding energy, to allow space for what it is that you really want. And it's all going to depend on what we do and on our actions. And we have to focus on our actions, not just everything that's going on in the world, because we know there's a heck of a lot of stuff happening there. We don't have a lot of control about that, but we do have a lot of control about our daily decisions. And for most of us, we're privileged enough here in this part of the world to not be as horribly affected by some of the things that are going on, but the responsibility falls to us to help make the change for others. And so this Virgo new moon, which is Virgo's all about stepping up, volunteering, giving time, being part of things. And so this falls to us. Now, focus on Sunday on health and wealth and what's been going on since 8/23 when we had the last Virgo new moon. All right, let's pull a couple cards for this big week ahead. Haven't looked at any of these yet. Let's see. I'm going to give you one from each of these piles here. So the first one is from the Curious Travels Tarot. The second one is from the Pastoral Tarot. We got one here for them from the Magical Hours. And let's get a spirit animal for the week ahead on the table here. Haven't looked at any of these. Let's see what we got. First card, Justice. Interesting. She's walking a tightrope. Justice, trying to find the balance. She looks like she's up high, trying to go slow, move slowly, move with intention. This is Libra energy. We know the planets are we know the moon and the sun are just about to move into Libra. And yes, so more Libra energy showing up. Justice, the balance. You've got the King or the Page of Wands here. So you've got some young energy with the Page. Wands is fire. And he looks like he's actually not even walking on the path. He's on his own path here. So not following the norm, following your own curiosity. And he's also walking health, right? Getting out there. Six of Cups shows up. We have some nostalgic energy here. We know we have heavy South Node influence, the past. We don't want to get too bogged down in the watery emotions of the past. We're trying to find the balance. Looks like some movement will help us. Let's see what the animal is. And we've got the dolphin, and it says play. Swim in the happy joy of living. Inhale confidence. Exhale fear. Dive into your wisdom and go with the flow. So there is playful energy here, Page of Wands. Even the Six of Cups has reminiscing playful energy to it. Justice card, finding that balance. We're talking all about your health and your wealth and your diet and exercise and taking care of yourself better. And I think it reflects in the card. So I'm giving you permission to play. Go ahead and play this week. Have some playtime. Maybe you have a fun adventure in the woods. Enjoy. Now we move into the next week, which is September 22nd through September 28th. This is the week that the sun is going to move into Libra. We've got some changes going on this week also. So the sun to Libra, we have the fall equinox. This is a big turning point of the year, midway point. So on Monday, the 22nd, the moon will be in Libra. The sun will move into Libra at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is the pagan holiday of Mabon. This is the fall equinox. So enjoy the beauty, enjoy the celebration, enjoy the sun moving into a Venus sign, a sign of harmony on Monday, the 20th. Tuesday, the 23rd. Now, remember, we're going to have Mars is moving into the sign of Scorpio this month. And this actually happens on Monday, the 20th. at 3:54 a.m. So Mars, the planet of action, into the powerful sign of Scorpio. This is an unstoppable placement. I actually was born with Mars in Scorpio. And we are going to make things happen. Nothing's going to stop us. If something stands in our way, we will go over it, under it, or through it to make it happen. Mars in Scorpio, tons of determination. Mars is the original ruler of Scorpio, so it does very well in that sign. Have you been playing by the rules? Watch your back if you've been up to no good. Scorpio tends to never forgive. Schedule a heart-to-heart with those that you've done wrong. Ask for forgiveness. Make the move. Do it. Mars and Scorpio can get stuff done. And we can heal up a lot about the past. And again, keep going back to that South Node influence, heavy South Node influence right now, the past. What have we learned from it so we do not repeat things again? And we can clear up old transgressions this week. Tuesday, the 23rd, Moon continues to be in Libra. It's going to be square Pluto. So keep it simple. Focus on your health. The 24th, Mars in Scorpio squares Pluto. Mars in Greek mythology is the god of war. Pluto in Greek mythology is Hades. So we've got a square, 90-degree angle. Mars in Scorpio equals outrage, heated, and emotional. It wants to be seen and heard. Pluto in Aquarius rules groups of people wanting change. It's the uprising. And I wrote down it requires paperwork. It may seem like no one is listening. Mars is in its own sign, so it will win in this square. Continue to take action. Don't give up. You will prevail. So, you say you have to do something that requires a lot of paperwork and you're getting these no answers and people are telling you, no, you got to follow this way. You got to do it this way. Mars in Scorpio is unstoppable. Mars in Scorpio is in the power position because Mars rules Scorpio. And so if you continue to stay focused and not give up, you will prevail. Wednesday, 9/24, again, affecting us longer than that. Mars square Scorpio has been going on for a while. It's kind of done it a few times. It has a lot of the energy of Israel and Palestine and Gaza is all Mars square Pluto. There's deep, powerful social change happening. Now we go into Thursday, the 25th. It's a smoother day, Thursday, the 25th. The moon will move into Scorpio, but it's going to be sextile Venus, which is a positive aspect. So smoother, keep the peace, sexy energy is available, Thursday, the 25th. Friday, the 26th, Venus, Mars, moon square Venus. But there is some fun energy to be had later in the day. The evening looks a lot more fun on the 26th as the moon moves into Sagittarius, the fun-loving sign. So it's a Sagittarius weekend. Saturday is a better day to do your own thing. Sunday, fun adventures are there to be had, and it's a better day to make plans with others. So if you have to pick Sunday. Now, let's put a couple cards on the table for this week ahead. I've got two here from the pastoral. Let's take one here from this Curious Travels. And then let's get you a spirit animal for this week ahead as the sun moves into Libra, as we go through the fall equinox, as we have Mars moving into Scorpio, and we have the Knight of Cups here. Looks like he's on the road, but he stopped for a campfire, playing his harmonica. Knight of Cups, making music, bringing joy wherever he goes. He's on a quest. This is Knight. Knight to me would be taking action, moving forward. Cups is water, and that is where Mars is moving into Scorpio. The Hanged Man, Pisces energy. We know that Saturn moved back into Pisces. So this one looks like he's on the road on a journey. This Hanged Man shows like someone taking some quiet time, some relaxing time here, which is very important for your health. Let's see what else we've got. And we've got the Devil card here. Okay, remember Mars and Scorpio kind of gives a little bit of that mischievous energy. And the devil card's asking you who's got the power here. The devil card rules anything below the belt. So we did see a lot of sexy energy, but we also don't want it to be misused. And sometimes the knights are younger kind of men on quests, and sometimes the energy can be misused. And the hangman is Pisces, so we want to make sure we're breaking cycles. We don't want to be too overpowering. And we want to question our own intentions and others' intentions. So we've got the devil card here. Two major arcanas. This is a card with a lot of power, but it's asking you, where are you being manipulated? Who's in control? Where are you manipulating others? And remember, we were talking about asking for forgiveness. Your spirit animal for the week is the raven, the shaman. It says you are the creator and the magician. Use your gifts for good. There is a power in your wisdom and words. Connect with the elemental spirits and glide through the void. Claim your place as a keeper of the mysteries. This feels very Scorpio to me. We're going to head more and more into Scorpio season. We have a lot of power here. Use your gifts for good. And I think that is a repeat of the statement with the devil card next to that. Okay, so now we're going to move into the very last week of the month that goes into October. And we're looking at September 29th through October 5th. Now we start off the week on 9/29 with the first quarter moon in Capricorn. So we're building something here, right? The moon is building. And Capricorn is a grounded earth sign. It is about long-term success. It has a lot of themes about business. With the first quarter moon in Capricorn, business is business. Move towards what works best for you with grace. Meet with people in person that you are saying goodbye to, because we have some endings here going into new energy. Maybe you're a boss, you have to let somebody go. Maybe there's some service that you're using for your business that you have to let go. They won't like it, but they will respect you if you do this in person. Maybe your paths will cross again, so leave it on good terms. Part ways with grace, Monday the 29th. Tuesday the 30th, working hard versus true rest. Find the balance. The moon's going to be opposite Jupiter. Jupiter makes everything big. Wednesday the 1st, a lot of different things going on. Moon square Mercury and Mars. Mercury square Jupiter. And the moon's going to be conjunct Pluto, the planet of transformation and change. So there's a lot of power. You got to stay focused on your own thing. You're being prompted towards change. On Thursday the 2nd, the moon's trining Mercury. So there's a lot of mercurial energy. There's a lot of good ideas floating around. The moon is in the sign of Aquarius. That's a sign of brilliance. It's the genius of the zodiac. It's an air sign. We have a lot of planets in air right now. There's a lot of good ideas floating around. Write them down. Thursday the 2nd. Friday the 3rd, the moon is trine Mercury again. It's also trine Mars. The moon will stay in Aquarius most of the day. It will move into Pisces later. Get into the details of your ideas. And then as the moon moves into Pisces, you can get really creative with things. Now, Saturday, the 4th, moon in Pisces, take the time to dream your ideas into reality. Sunday, again, this is a whole Pisces weekend. The moon continues to be in Pisces. You will get it done after some good quality relaxation. This is the ultimate Sunday to take some time, some quiet time. Don't be like me and work on Sundays, and take some quiet, even if it's just a little extra, even if it's 20 more minutes of sleeping in. Water signs need more rest. The moon is in Pisces. We need it. Coming down off a Pisces full moon this month. So you will get everything done that you need, because the following week, the moon will move into Aries. So we know that's forward moving energy. Savor the quiet, slow energy of October 5th. It should be beautiful leaf peeping season up here in New England. Make sure you take some time for that, to just take in the beauty. Now, I'm putting a couple cards on the table for you for this week ahead. I've got two here from the Curious Travels Tarot and one from the Pastoral. I'm also going to put a animal totem card down for you. All right, let's see what we've got. First card, the Nine of Wands. So there's definitely a lot going on with the Nine of Wands or the Nine of Fire. It looks like, she looks down on her knees trying to hold this wand. And so there's a little bit of exhaustion. So all the more reason to enjoy the Pisces weekend. We have the Hanged Man. It's almost like this branch here is holding her up. Now, and it's interesting, she's entwined by a snake. We're finishing up the year of the snake. Snake is a representation of the sign Scorpio. We have Mars in Scorpio. Mars in Scorpio, remember, yeah, it can get things done. It's action, but it's in a water sign. So there's a lot of deep contemplation. And the Hanged Man is kind of holding you there, asking you to take that time out. So don't overlook the quality of deep contemplation. Devil card comes up again. It came up last week also. There's the wolf amongst the sheep. The farmer looks like he's taking the nap back there, and that wolf is coming in. So don't ignore, you got snakes and wolves and overstimulation and the devil card. So yeah, rest, but don't be ignorant to what's going on around you. Don't miss things. Be careful. There's some sneaky energy here, and we want to be aware of it. We also want to take our power back from certain situations. Interesting, the devil card 2 weeks in a row. Let's see what and two major arcanas and a card of very overstimulation. Remember, 2025 is a 9-year. We're going to get into the last quarter of 2025. It's going to increase. So you got to take care of yourself. We've had repeated themes of balance and health and wellness with all this Virgo energy this month. Here's your spirit animal. It is the peacock, and it says vibrancy. You were born to shine and inspire. Practice humility to avoid jealousy. Be grateful for life, and more good things will come. Be true to yourself and recognize your brilliance. So I know peacocks live don't they live like 100 years or something? They live pretty long. And I thought they mate for life, but I could be wrong about that. They definitely can be feisty. So vibrancy, beauty, don't be afraid to show off your power in a sense when you have this card of power right next to it, or who's got the power. And you were born to shine. Okay. So go easy on yourself, pay attention, take some downtime, but don't be so, remember, Pisces is rest, but Pisces is also illusion and delusion. That's why it rules drugs and alcohol. So don't be too out of it that you miss the wolf sneaking in, okay? Or the snake showing up. And remember, when someone identifies as a snake, calls themselves a snake, believe them. When you feel that something is off with someone, I don't care what they're saying to you or what your logic is saying to you. If you feel it, you are on to something. You are picking something up, and trust it. Don't want to learn the hard way. All right. So this is the overview. Thank you for joining me for the month of September. And, there's so much going on, and I'm sure I missed a lot of things, but I really tried to hone in on the heart of what my own personal research brings me, what I learned from a lot of great teachers out there that I am lucky enough to have in my life, either personally or just through good old YouTube. And this is a time, a very extreme time, but this is a time where we can really start to set up our life to clear out the old, to make room for the new, to learn from the old lessons, learn from the old mistakes, take our power back, and get ready to finish out the 9-year in numerology and go into a fresh 1 year next year. All astrologers were saying when I was doing research about 2025 at the beginning of the year that, yeah, they were going to see some things happen this year. We have a lot of planetary changes, but the real movement is going to happen in 2026. So get ready for it. Look for clues of foreshadowing, for deja vu feelings, and be prepared to move forward. Thanks for joining me.